Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Cobra Kai, and this is my review of it. The first part of it is going to be spoiler-free. The second part, I'm going to go into some spoilers. Guys, I gotta tell you, when it comes to Cobra Kai, I was so wrong. Okay, if you're new to the channel, my name is Vin Gemfield and I'm welcoming you, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed this so you don't miss my upcoming videos. So, today's episode, first a little disclaimer, like a couple of months ago I saw the first trailer for Cobra Kai and I did a short episode called Cobra Kai Hit or Miss, and I got a lot of heat for it, and I just want to quickly explain that the criticism that I felt then was basically Karate Kid is a childhood movie. I mean, it's a 1984 movie. To me, it's like it was like a Bible. It was like a right and wrong Bible to me. Seriously, like I think my value system comes from that movie and other movies as well. So messing with the Bible, for me, it was hard to swallow, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna see it anyway. I'm just saying that I'm concerned about this. And so I saw the first episode and the second episode yesterday, and then I was like, you know what, this is actually not that bad. So I watched all 10 episodes of Cobra Kai in one day. Yes, I binge watched Cobra Kai. And let me tell you, as a whole, it felt like a whole, like, I think this could have been a movie. Like, I get it, they want to make it like an episode and released it on YouTube Red. I get it. Every episode is like 20 to 30 minutes. And we basically get back to the characters. And Johnny Lawrence, the bad guy of the original, it felt in the trailer like he was going to be the main character of the story. And in a way he is, and in a way he isn't. He's sort of the anti-hero of the story, and it's very enjoyable. Like, I gotta say, like, the best performance in the entire miniseries comes from William Zabka, who is phenomenal as Johnny Lawrence, like this burnt out guy trying to get back. Again, I'm gonna keep the first part of this review spoiler free, and then I'm gonna go into some spoilers at the end of this review, but I'll make sure to mention when I cross over to the spoiler part. So the story is very basic. It's a full reversal, basically. As the original Karate Kid, Daniel Larusso was the underdog. He was a poor kid, he lived in a poor neighborhood, and he got picked on by the rich kids. And one of those rich kids, the leader of the rich kids, was Johnny Lawrence. And then in the original movie, they have like this big fight, this tournament, and Daniel makes, the crane, and kicks him in the face. It was sort of interesting to kind of mention it, because it's been for the past 30 years people have been discussing, wasn't face contact illegal? How come he got the point? Whenever the other guys from the Cobra Kai hit someone in the face, they almost got disqualified, but Johnny was kicked in the face and lost the game. How does that make sense? So it's interesting. So it's like a full reversal here. Daniel Larusso is happily married, has a great career, and Johnny Lawrence is on basically the other side. He's on the bottom. He's getting fired from jobs. He has a problem with alcohol. He's very rude and bitter. He's sort of like, if you remember Bad Santa, he's sort of like that. And he's just rude to everyone and just wants to be left alone. And then things start to change. For whatever reason, he decides to reopen the Cobra Kai. And he starts to train kids that are being picked on by people in relationship to the daughter of Daniel Larusso. So again, it's a full reversal. It's, in a way, Johnny Lawrence becomes the Mr. Miyagi of this series. And Daniel Larusso also does it. Now, my main concern is, I was worried before I started watching this, I was worried that they would basically change so much in the story that it would just change my image of the first movie. And it did. It absolutely did. Like, my idea of Johnny Lawrence has completely shifted from when I started watching from the original Karate Kid. It's completely changed. If I watch that movie again, it's gonna feel very, very different. I'm gonna have a completely different opinion of the bad guy, who turns out he just had a lot of issues at home. So needless to say, you could probably guess from the enthusiasm, I loved it. Like 10 out of 10, it was perfect. Like seriously perfect. Hugely surprised. I had no idea. I thought it would be okay, and I would be like, please don't let it suck too much. But it was actually better than okay. It was really, really good. Everything, all the performances, all the characters. There is just one character in the entire cast that I did not like, and it's the son of Johnny Lawrence. I don't really know how to say it. I don't think that it's that he's a bad actor. He did a great job. Like, he convinced me and everything. He was an interesting character. All characters were really interesting. Like, the problem is I felt that they didn't give enough time to his character. I don't even remember the character's name. Was it Eddie, or I don't even remember. Like, it was that unremarkable. Like, but you remember Miguel, you remember the daughter, you remember all the rest, but just this character has a really huge part in this whole story. As you can tell while you start to watch this is all sort of starting to lead up to a certain tournament. And you can sort of tell that by the trailer and everything else. So I don't think I'm giving too much away by mentioning it. So yeah, in the end of the miniseries, there is a huge, kids basically fight it out, so to speak. And it's good. It's really good. Like, I remember the original Karate Kid. I'm starting to sound like an old man. Like, I remember when I was an old man or a young man and things just got... No, I remember the original one. And the last, I think, 20 minutes of the movie is, it's all about the fighting. I don't know if it's 20 minutes. It felt like 20 minutes, but probably more like 10 minutes. And they're fighting, and there's great soundtrack, 80s soundtrack. Oh, and speaking of, I just love the fact that they put in so much 80s music into this one. It still sounds fresh, and it sort of reminds me of the feeling I got when I'm watching Stranger Things. There is this 80s kind of a vibe to it. But I think that the brilliance of this Cobra Kai is that it's got two target groups. One group is the 30, 40-year-olds who used to watch the original series like me, and the other group is probably just young kids, and it's amazing. And the fighting is good, like the choreography is awesome, and I do like the fact that they have a girl who's in Cobra Kai, and she's breaking barriers. She's going against the old traditions of not allowing girls into the Cobra Kai. She's allowed to be there, and she kicks ass. Like, she's really good. So many cool characters in the entire story. So I'm just gonna leave this first spoiler-free part because I feel like I'm limiting myself. I can't really speak freely. So I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna end this first part of this review and just say it's a really awesome show. If you enjoyed the original one, but you're a bit worried that you're not gonna like it, you can trust me. I was the biggest critic when I saw the trailer, and I was really pleasantly surprised. The creators of this Cobra Kai, they are true fans to the original one, and they've worked really hard to keep it good, so to speak. Like, they connect all the dots, but they do it in a very respectful way. There are many references to Mr. Miyagi, who you can probably imagine by seeing the trailer, and also the knowledge that Pat Morita, the actor who played Mr. Miyagi, is dead. But they do a homage to it. His name is mentioned. You actually get to see him and hear him. There are these flashbacks from the original movie. So they do it very gracefully. So if you have any concerns, don't have them. Just watch it. And for those of you who don't know the original movie, I really recommend that you watch the original movie first, then this one. Otherwise, nothing is gonna make sense. I don't think so, anyway. I mean, they obviously make this series to explain everything, and they show everything, and they sort of open up this story for people who haven't watched the original one. But I think it's more enjoyable if you actually seen the original one. Okay, so this is the end of the spoiler-free part of this review, and now I'm just gonna, just go full throttle on the rest of it. Okay, so spoiler alert. I really love the part, and in the end, and it's one of the end sequences where you get to see a return of a character, and I think I knew it like midway throughout this series that this character was gonna return, and it's the old Cobra Kai sensei, Mr. Crease. There is this part, like I think in episode 5 or 6, where Johnny Lawrence mentions that Mr. Crease is dead, and the moment he said it, and I was like, how do we actually know that? Like, we've been tricked before into thinking that he's dead. What if he's not? And surely enough, in the end, we get to see a little scene with the old sensei. It's gonna be interesting, and I figured they would do something like that. They would focus on some of the main characters in this first season and in the second season. Oh yeah, definitely, there's gonna be a second season. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I saw it coming. I really did. I didn't see any reason not to get in that wonderful character into this show. So my first instinct was, okay, they're probably saving him from season 2, and that's exactly what they did. So that's great. That's fine. That's something to look forward to. Performance-wise, and this is the reason I don't mention some of these things in the first part of this review is because I don't want to. I'm just worried that I'll mention too much when I mention a certain scene. So I think that Daniel Larusso, the character Daniel Larusso, is so interesting to see again. He remembers a lot. He remembers Mr. Miyagi, and like Ralph Macchio, he did a wonderful job playing Daniel Larusso again. He's always been a really good actor. I don't know why he hasn't been that much in Hollywood these last couple of years, because he's a really good actor. I think it's probably because his face, he's got that very young person face. Even when he gets older, he's just still keeps looking young, and I think this probably annoys a lot of people in Hollywood. I don't know, but he's a really good actor. And of course, the person who steals the show the most is William Zabka, who plays of course, Johnny Lawrence. He definitely steals the show. Is he gonna get an Emmy for it? My guess is yeah. I can't imagine any actor getting an Emmy over him, So he did a phenomenal job, and the kids were all really good. I just sometimes felt like they didn't get enough screen time. This is the problem when you're trying to combine two target audiences. There's this, who you're gonna focus it. So they're doing it like a show where they're sort of focusing on different characters. But for me personally, maybe this has to do with the fact that I've seen the original movies. For me personally, I was just so synced up with Daniel Larusso and even Johnny Lawrence and all the characters from the old movies that I was just so focused in on them that I didn't really pay that much attention to the kids. But the kids are just as important, and they really do have just as big a part in this Cobra Kai as anyone else. It's just that, again, the target audiences, they're gonna pick up on different things. And I think that kids who have never seen the original movie or didn't grow up with the original movie, they will probably feel more connected to the younger characters, obviously. So, that being said, I love the full twist reversal of everything. And this is the part that I really just could not mention in the first part of this review. And that is the full reversal of basically Johnny Lawrence being the new Mr. Miyagi, teaching a picked on kid, a kid being picked on by the friends of the daughter of Daniel Larusso, and Daniel Larusso being the new Mr. Miyagi for Johnny Lawrence's son. Like, too much of a coincidence, though. I have to say it. Like, too much of a coincidence. But I just love that reversal. I mean, this is movie magic. You know, when something just seems too much like a coincidence, it's movie magic. But it works. It's a bit silly, but it works. And I just love it. There's a lot of drama in it. It was very enjoyable to watch. And I'm gonna sort of lean into the biggest problem I have with Cobra Kai, and that is the one character, and that is Johnny Lawrence's son, who I can't remember the name of. It's not Eddie, but it's something that sounds like Eddie. But he just gets too little screen time, and I feel no sympathy for him, because to me, he's like the new, in a sense, he's like the new Karate Kid. You know, he gets trained on by Daniel Larusso, and he takes in karate. And in just a short amount of time, he exercises with him, trains karate, and somehow becomes like a karate master. Because obviously, Miyagi karate is, of course, the best. That's why he's a real contender. And the thing that sort of bothered me is that in the end of the whole thing, this kid, under 18, gets into the under 18 Valley tournament, and he gets to enter it. He doesn't have a sensei. He doesn't represent anyone. He gets to enter the tournament, and just felt a bit off to me. Maybe they just felt that they didn't have time enough to develop this idea that Daniel Larusso was gonna train him and enter him into the competition. And also, I didn't really see what the point of him entering the competition. There is no scene where he's discussing the competition, and suddenly he's in the competition, he's in the tournament. And obviously he's trying to get back at his dad, but this is just after he's saying sorry to everyone for, you know, for tricking Daniel Larusso, you know, just trying to get back at his old man. To me, it's kind of weird, but, you know, I'm not gonna go too much into that. Again, part of movie magic, when you sort of make something off look on, you know, it's movie magic. It works. I just felt it felt kind of weird that he would just be there in the tournament, like a big surprise. But you know, and this is a big spoiler, Cobra Kai wins in the end. Miguel wins the tournament, and he becomes a little bit of the bad guy. He becomes like the old Johnny Lawrence, and he loses his girlfriend. All because of a lot of series of misunderstandings and stuff. So, it's gonna be fun to watch season 2, and like YouTube really did a good investment here, like investing, you know, to get this show on YouTube Red. That was a bold move, but it worked. They're competing now with Netflix, and, you know, I hope it works out great for them. So it was good. I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna end it here now, and if you've listened this far, you know, just gotta say thanks. Appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Or, as I say in my intro, or outro.
Okay, that was it. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, see that like button, smash it. And I got some freakishly awesome videos coming up. Better subscribe so you don't miss a beat. I'll see you later. Peace.